Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first snowstorm of 2025. Nah, just kidding. But it is the first snowstorm. Hubby is out cleaning up the first snow, but it's gonna continue doing this a lot longer. Anyway, the last 2 years have been hard. I've been feeling depressed, and also my mother died, and then my auntie died, and there was a bit of kerfuffle with her will, my mother's, that is. And, well, I didn't have the energy to deal with editing because with editing, you need to be joyful, you need to love it. I just couldn't do the editing. I was too depressed and put down by life itself. I'm sorry. I didn't want to leave you hanging, but life is what it is, and the stuff that happened with my mother's estate was, well, not fun. She died a year and a half ago in October, and then there was the burial, cost a shit ton of money, and then she was kind of a hoarder, so there was a huge amount of crap to deal with, and that's gonna be the next episode. Just check these out. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff. And the kerfuffle that happened was that she conspired with my brother to try and keep the majority of the estate out of my hands. And that was the expression they used, out of my hands. I never wanted the I okay, there was a time I wanted a place for my kids to be in the summer, but we solved it by being the best summer house ever. We have had pools and plays and you know water wars and slides and I don't know everything that a child needs at home because I was just not welcome down there. Well, guess why? My mother chose to spread a rumor about me that just wasn't true. And I found out about the rumor through the one man in my family that actually loves me for me, and I love him back unconditionally. He's the best. And he came to me and asked me if I really had said that. And of course, I denied it because it just wasn't true. She made up a fantasy about me in her mind, and the older she got, the more spectacular the fantasy was. And after that, there was this time she told me she wanted to make a will. And I told her I didn't want to hear it, but she insisted, and I broke down because she told me she was gonna uh, give the majority of the estate to my brother and leave me with nothing, basically. There was an apartment in town, small one, and I'm gonna show you. And there was a summer cottage worth about 1.2 million Swedish crowns. That's $120,000 or so, or euro. And I just broke down. I couldn't care anymore. I just left and never looked back. And sometimes between then and now, I started mending myself. I went on anxiety meds and I had some therapy and I talked and thought and, you know, expressed aloud why I felt the way I feel. And in that process, I turned to be a happier person. And that's about when I started filming because I was content with being me. And a few years ago, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, I had my first happy dream. It was about babies, so many babies, little chubby angels of baby fat and diapers. They were everywhere. And I managed in the dream to tell my mother to F off, to not destroy what we had with all the babies. I was so happy. I laughed when I woke up. Babies. I was happy for 2 days after. All the babies, they were so cute. And everybody wanted to hug me and be with me. And oh, it was glorious. They were so cute. After the very expensive burial that she didn't want, I made a deal with my brother. But first, he told me about the cottage thing that they were trying to keep away from me. I went to a lawyer and she told me that what they tried to do was just not allowed. That I did indeed have a claim on the cottage too. I didn't want it because I was not welcome because of my mother's scheming and intriguing. I just wanted it to be fair. So instead, I made it a bit unfair. He got to keep the car and the cottage. The cottage he claimed now was worth about 750. And I got to keep the apartment. And well, I was right. And I made a deal to avoid more kerfuffle that I would take the lesser part so that I could keep the apartment of that where she lived instead of splitting the summer cottage and the apartment. The apartment is worth so much less than the summer cottage, but I couldn't take it anymore. And the reason I wanted to keep the apartment was because my father-in-law is very ill, and my husband and I needed him in Sundsvall, in our town, to be able to help him and keep an eye on him, which is good because he's feeling much better now. Thank you. He is improving immensely. Well, he was improving immensely, and then he got sick, but now it's better again. He has regained a quality of life that he just didn't have before, so it was worth it. But in that kerfuffle, in that arguing and bickering over the will, I just decided not gonna keep my mother's action against me secret anymore. So I told everyone. But when I contacted the lawyer, my brother told me that he would no longer have contact with me unless it involves the the estate. So, long story short, we don't have contact anymore. But by then I decided I was not going to keep my mother's secret anymore because I didn't want to tell it when she was alive, because the only thing that could have happened was that she accused me of being a liar and everybody turned against me even more than before. But now I have nothing to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose because there is nothing to lose. So I told my side of the story in a several pages long letter on Facebook. And of course, I was accused of lying. And I don't know. Why would I lie about anything like this? About the name calling and the. Let me show you a picture. This is when I was 12. That was the first time she took me to Weight Watchers. She called me a fat ass. Tjockarsle. It's fat ass in Swedish. She'd always called me fat, but I was not fat. Not at all. But if you tell someone something enough times, they will start believing it's true. And slowly, kilo by kilo, I gained enough that I just let it go. I just couldn't care anymore. So I gained a lot of weight. There were more things, of course. My panic attacks that I've had since I was a child, they were getting harder and harder to control, and they were concentrating on my bad back. And in the end, I had like 4 or 5 panic attacks a day. So I went on panic meds, on anxiety meds, and I still am on anxiety meds. And I feel so much better now, thanks to them. It's a long journey. I mean, we're talking 20 years or something. It takes a lot of time to release yourself from someone like my mother. I've released myself from my mother, and nowadays my dreams are not the kind I used to have. There's a Swedish riddle that goes, "What goes and never comes to the door?" And the answer is the clock. Går och kommer aldrig till dörren. That was my dream. I was walking and doing and never reaching the door. The plane would always leave without me. The train would leave without me. The people would leave without me. I was always left behind because I wasn't able to leave. And I've had those dreams for all of my life. I don't remember not having them. And the 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 dream with the children was the first time I woke up happy ever. I woken up and then got to be happy because of my kids or my husband, but I never woke up happy, woke up laughing. And now I have done that. And nowadays my dreams are filled with adventure and sailing and Avengers I dreamed of the other night. And I get to see things and do things and experience things. And even if I'm afraid in the dream, I can solve the problem, I can always reach the conclusion and do the right thing and go on, move on. Like a game I was stuck on a level before and I just couldn't get out of the first level. And now I'm on level 35 and still going. It's fantastic to wake up and have two dreams that you remember so vividly you could write a book about them. It's fantastic. I love it. Last summer, on my birthday, I got a gift from my husband to experience sailing. And it was glorious. It was so fun. I brought Ludde with me and we went sailing in the bay. And it was fantastic. I loved every second of it. I could feel the wind and I could feel when I was steering exactly what the wind was doing to the boat. It was fantastic. And I'm gonna love sailing in the future. And we postpone it a year. It doesn't matter. It's just one more year because the market now is bad and we really need to get out as much as we can from the house because that's our starting point. So we are going to go 2026, I hope. I so do wish we can do this because if I can't, I'm going to be depressed for the rest of my life. I enjoy doing upgrades, but I need the adventure. It's been too little adventure for me. It was an adventure raising my kids because it was never boring. It happened something all the time. But now they're stuck in the room playing and having fun with their friends. I need adventure. I love my family. They're the best there is. My husband is a beautiful soul, a wonderful person. He is loved by everybody. Everything he touches turns to gold. He is the best, and I am so lucky that he has chosen me. Well, I chose him, and he just, okay. But I love him, and our kids are fantastic. They're wonderful kids. They're so good behaved, and they're so kind and sweet and loving. I couldn't wish for better kids either. I love my life. I've chosen this life for me and my family. But I still want adventure with my family. I hope you have enjoyed the snippets of what we did during these 2 years, except for the hoarding situation at my mother's. That will be a series of its own because it was so much. It took us several weeks to clean out because we had, floorball and regular life and work to do too. I do wish that we all have a wonderful life, a beautiful 2025 with lots of love and laughter and good food, and you know, have some fantastic experience to tell everybody about, because what's life if you don't have something to talk about? I mean, you can talk about the weather all you want, but that ain't gonna change that if that's the one thing you can talk about. That is boring, and I don't want to be boring. We'll see you later, babes, honeys, sugars. I don't know what to call you. Give me some examples. Bye.